topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to Entrepreneurs Ascending, where we believe in a better life through better business. Here, we help you aspire to greatness, achieve your goals, and ascend to new heights. Whether you're starting, scaling, or exiting, we're here to empower you with inspiring stories, enlightening discussions, and transformative resources to help you accelerate your success. Now, it's time for Entrepreneurs Ascending. Welcome to Entrepreneurs Ascending. Matt Barbie here, your host. And this is your time. And as you know, we do this live so that you can actually even ask us questions. So please feel free to ask us questions along the way. We want to make sure that this is as effective as possible for you today, as powerful as possibly for today. But we're going to get into some of the basics around Google Ads. What does it take to get started in that? And as a business owner, what do you need to know? Because there is a wealth of information that you can pull from Google Ads, and there are all sorts of different opinions about what's important. So we're going to have a couple of experts with us today. We're going to have Brad Cohen and Brady Tibbits here with us today. And Brad has been in the digital media SaaS industries for 18 years. Brad's been part of 2 companies that went public in the space and led sales as well as fulfillment teams his entire career. Brad launched a luxury leasing firm in Chicago, combining his experience in digital lead gen with his passion for real estate. As he held a license for 17 years, connecting potential tenants with managed towers at Chicago, managed by PPM Related and Greystar, etc. His platform became a lead system, creating over 100 inbound leads daily from the most popular aggregator sites like Zillow, Radpad, Zumper, etc. Brad sold the company 7 years ago and continued his journey in the digital space. 4 years ago, he partnered with Brady to become a fulfillment company focusing on performance marketing from Google, Bing, to Meta and LinkedIn. And Brady started his career 8 years ago in digital media and software, self-educating on strategic performance tactics for performance marketing. Brady started his career in SaaS and transitioned to digital media exclusively to partner with Brad, building a very strategic fulfillment channel to individual businesses and agency partners. He now runs over $15 million annually of digital marketing. So without further ado, we should be able to bring him on.
Hey, Matt.
Right. Hey, great to have you, Brad and Brady. How you guys doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing great, especially now that we've got all of our technology kinks and everything worked out and we're here together.
Let's do this.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, before we get into the Google Ads, people struggle with a lot of different things as a business. And my tablet is talking to me somehow. For some reason, it thought that I said,
"Welcome to the world of technology."
Yep. So, which is odd because it never actually talks to me. I don't know. It's just, of course, the time that I'm live on the air. Oh well. So always. All right. Well, I would love to know a little bit more about your entrepreneurial journey because not only are we here to answer these questions about Google Ads, but people want to know what you went through and kind of those stages along the way, because entrepreneurship, going from startup to exiting, which we might have to have you on another time just to share your story about exiting a company and selling it. But there's a lot of steps in that roller coaster ride there, right? So So Brad, kind of in your own words, like just what was most what first got you into entrepreneurship?
I mean, listen, I've always had the desire, I think like a lot of people, probably people listening in, that, you have a vision and kind of have a dream and you want to execute and you want to just build something special. And, I've been fortunate enough to be brought into a couple companies that on a much larger scale, obviously, we're able to exit, which is incredible, but it just fueled, I guess, my desire to keep pushing as hard as humanly possible and launch other endeavors that, combined, I guess, just what I do well. I mean, I think everybody's got their skill sets and you stay in your lane and you execute and you can relatively do it well. If you know the space and you know the industries you're in. And I've always had a passion for it. So, as you said, with the luxury leasing side of the business, built one of the largest luxury leasing companies in Chicago that I looked at it not like we were a leasing firm. That was the output, but we were a tech firm. That's all we were. We were a lead gen firm. And it's I guess very similar to what we're talking about today, just understanding the digital space and how to drive leads and how to drive performance, and something I've always been interested in, and decided to stay in this industry because I know quite a few agencies and there was a gap, and it fueled me to say, wow, another gap that can be filled. There's a lot of agencies that need help. There's a lot of brands and small businesses that are struggling immensely with this technology. And I don't expect anybody to be a pro at it. That's not in the space, right? I'm not a lawyer. Lawyers do that. I'm not an accountant. Accountants do that. We're not contractors. Contractors know what they're doing in their realm. So, we stayed in our lane again and built a fulfillment channel to really just help businesses, drive leads and understand what they need to do, understand what's possible. And for me, it's always been exciting. So we kind of stepped on the gas, and it put us where we're at today, running some amazing brands and amazing small businesses and working with some of the best agencies out there.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And Brady, what about you?
Yeah, so actually, it's pretty funny. Brad actually took me under his wing right out of college. I got my master's degree. And then he kind of showed me the way of the entrepreneurial spirit with I was an outside sales rep. So you control your day. You don't have anybody really looking over your shoulder, and you've got to hold yourself accountable. And I think from like an entrepreneur perspective, me starting my career in sales was the best thing I could possibly do, because that taught me so many different things, obviously digitally and learning the platforms and stuff, but taught me how to communicate, how to meet with clients, how to push numbers, push myself. And that was a huge thing from the get-go, I guess 8 years ago now. And we've kind of transitioned that into our fulfillment that we're running here for agencies and brands. And that's been a huge thing for us. So yeah, like Brad, he's totally taken me under his wing the first couple of years and showed me how, he was successful launching businesses and agencies and things like that. And and now we're doing it together.
So being a salesperson kind of showed you, I mean, first of all, of course, maybe how to close a deal. That probably helped. But also that it's important as an entrepreneur to know how to close a deal, right? And but you're saying kind of that almost that self-discipline maybe was part of that too, just being able to push yourself, as you said, right?
Yeah, you got to be able to hold yourself accountable, especially nowadays with so many outside noise and things like that are going on. So I think that was a big thing, especially as somebody young in their career, right? A lot of people nowadays just they struggle with holding themselves accountable, working remote, things like that, not knowing enough about their industry, whatever it is. And that's the biggest thing that I learned from early in my career and has transitioned over. Really.
Excellent. So now what got you guys into lead gen specifically, into the Google ads and the pay-per-click space?
Yeah, I mean, I started my entire career many moons ago in print for a few years until Google launched its ad platform. And one day, 20 years ago, Google decides they're going to launch a platform for businesses and consumers and connect them. And people didn't know what the heck was going on at that time. And it was well before the Facebook days, Instagram days, and Google was the first platform to really do this. So that was the evolution of media, right? It went from print, television, radio, all digital. So to me, it was one of those times that you either got to get off the bus or you're kind of going to get run over by it. So I decided to learn everything there was, and we just started building. And it started evolving at a rapid pace. I mean, I think I remember the first Google ad we brokered was probably one of the first 100 Google ads brokered. And I said, wow, this is going to change marketing forever. And you would have never really thought, fast forward 20 years, exactly how much it was going to change it. But it did. And as time went by, you just saw the demand increase at a rapid rate, and businesses really trying to adapt. And again, this isn't what they do. This isn't what they should be doing. It takes a lot of institutional knowledge to understand these platforms inside and out, from Google to Meta, LinkedIn, TikTok, and business owners have to run businesses. So I said to myself, this is what we got to learn, and we got to become the best of the best.
Well, thank you. And so, to become the best of the best, where did it start though? And I mean, where does somebody who might want to kind of get into Google ads, or maybe just thinking about running some Google ads in their business, like where should they start?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I look at it, there's two opportunities you have: either run it yourself or you find someone to run it. If you don't have the time and knowledge to run it yourself, you should always hire pros, regardless who they are, obviously. Somebody locally, somebody not locally, regardless, just somebody you believe in and has experience. To run it on your own, to answer your question specifically, there's a lot of platforms out there. Listen, Google offers up a lot of content, and you could just literally Google ads and literally read from their platform. You could watch videos. You want to really start learning the basics. Obviously, forget even just how to set up an ad campaign. I mean, anybody could do that, but understand why you're setting it up and what you're going to ultimately try to accomplish from your ad campaign. If it's ROAS, which is return on ad spend, which is obviously the way you manage e-com campaigns, or if it's based on CAC or cost per lead for home services or any other type of business. And then learning really to, how to optimize it. So self-teaching with a lot of, I think, of watching videos and reading as much as you can about how the Google space works, what different platforms they offer. So Googling, what are Google ads? What is Google local service ads? YouTube ads through Google, smart ads. So remember that Google consistently evolves, right? They change their platform at a rapid pace. So for someone, to think about what to do first, that would be my recommendation. And then once you feel comfortable enough with your knowledge to say, I think I can just launch a program, then you want to keep your eyes on it. You want to be in that, that campaign every couple of days. You want to be able to look at the data. You want to know what you're looking at and understand the levers to pull. So it's just a lot of, I think, a lot of research if you want to do it on your own.
Yeah. I think that that's a great insight. There's a lot to do. And we actually had a listener, Misty, asked, how useful are Google ads for small business?
Hello, Misty. Great question. They are, in my personal opinion, incredibly useful. And I don't know a better marketing model. I say that for this reason. Remember, Google is a supply and demand platform. That's the biggest thing to keep in mind. Radio, television, print, none of that supply and demand. That is being creative, putting out an ad to somebody who's never asked for it and hoping they see it and hoping that they're interested. Google is supply and demand, just like the market. So from a demand perspective, to answer a question, as a small business, let's say that business is a roofing company, for argument's sake, out of New York. There's a certain number of keywords that you can use to try to get people interested, right? So you're going to get that whole list of roofing terms. Well, those roofing terms have a demand, and that is the number of people that click on a daily basis to any of those terms. That's the demand. The supply is the polar opposite. The supply is all the competitors that are bidding on the ads and how much they're willing to bid. Google doesn't set the price of an ad. I don't set the price of an ad. Your competitors do. So that is a mathematical equation. And you multiply your cost of a click and the number of available clicks, and you divide it by a few percent, because an average click rate is going to be 1.5 to 2.5-ish. And that's going to be a budget. So the reason this sort of answers that question is, if you want to be in front of people that are searching for you, you are in front of people that are searching, and the demand will tell you how much you could spend. The demand's going to tell you what they're really searching. And it's gold to me, because these are consumers that are actually proactively searching out a business by triggering search queries from their desktop, from their mobile devices. They're the ones that are dictating how much demand there is for you. So if a small business decides not to do it, all they're really saying to themselves is, I want to be invisible 100% of the time when somebody's searching for me. And it's a dangerous thing to be.
Yeah. Brad, you bring up an interesting point with the supply and demand and being right where the eyes are. Yeah, thank you, Misty. There is definitely a lot to learn in this. One of the things that the 3 M's of marketing was at Dan Kennedy, Market Message Media. And one of the things I always tell my clients is you want to be where the eyes and the ears are of your clients. And if they're right there in front of the computer, tapping in the search, and they have a need now, there's a reason why they're doing that search, and you're not there, to your point, like you're kind of invisible because you're not where their eyes are you? That's good.
They're the ones dictating it, so you might as well be there.
Now, I know a lot of people struggle, though, like small businesses, they kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater, because they say, well, I tried to run some ads, and Google says it's really easy. So I should just be able to go in there and set a budget, and then they're going to give me some recommendations, and I should see something coming. But they don't get that ROAS, that return on ad spend.
Yeah.
So why does that happen, you think?
I have no idea. No, I'm joking. So there's a specific reason it happens. So you got to remember, all Google recommendations are generally recommendations shot out to any campaign. It's the same recommendations. Google wants to see people spend money. Spending money is not the only answer. It's not the holy grail of performance by any means. So they do try to make it seem a lot easier than it is. The reason that doesn't pan out that way is because they don't know the goal of your campaign. They don't know your AVO. They don't know your average value of an order, right? Or how much your client is worth, or what your personal conversion rates are as a business. So they really have no idea what recommendations to even make. So if we stuck with that roofing contractor, for example, and a roofing contractor said to us, listen, we need leads and we can support a $300 cost per lead. No Google recommendation that they ever make or anything you read is going to explain to you how to run against a cost per lead in the Google system, setting a certain amount that you could spend on a lead and optimizing it against that. So that is the problem right there, is you don't know how to do it. Google's not set it and forget it. You could set it up with the right keywords and the right budget. And if you're not optimizing against your goal, then it doesn't matter. So in that example, to answer the question, is if you need a $300 CAC, right? $300 cost per lead, cost for form or call, whatever it might be. You need to optimize against that data. You need to understand the Google system. So if you're learning Google ads right now, you can never start a Google campaign by setting a target cost of lead, because there are no leads in the Google system yet for you. So there are no leads. You can't optimize against the lead cost. But a lot of people don't really understand that. So you need to really start by optimizing against traffic. Then you start optimizing around leads once traffic comes in and you have enough leads. Then once you have more leads, you really start optimizing around a cost per lead if that's what you want. Every business has a different goal. Some of their goal is ROAS. Some is cost per lead. Some is just visibility. Nothing you really read, unless you go very deep in your education, is going to really break down all those components and teach you what you need to do and what levers, because they don't know what levers you're trying to pull to make the output happen, whatever that output you need is. That's the challenge right there. And that's why so many people say, I have even friends that are in business that have said it to me, Brad, I tried. I threw a bunch of money at Google ads. I tried, just didn't work. Yeah. Not that Google ads doesn't work. It's the way you're doing it doesn't work. And It's like me going to court and trying to represent myself as an attorney. It's not going to work.
Well, and it all depends on how you do it, and I mean, again, like who you're targeting and what your message is, even if it's compelling, right? And then, are you even, like you said, optimizing, right? So you might go and you might spend, $300, but you're not gonna have any sort of efficiencies with that, like even in the first couple of weeks, maybe even the first couple of months.
No.
Why do you think that is, Brad and Brady? But let's give Brady a chance to answer.
That's it. Yeah, that's a good question, because we get that question a lot in terms of like, how long does it take? When will I see results? Every campaign, every business is different when it comes to that question. But straight from the Google platform, they will tell you it takes 60 to 90 days to truly optimize a campaign. And that's a great point you bring up, Matt, because a lot of people are like, oh, well, I need to see a return right away. And that's a big downfall in terms of what their expectations are. So that's a big thing that we try and set from the beginning. People is, hey, you need to be able to fund this correctly, number one. And number two, you need to give the system, the machine, time to learn, because it is a beast, obviously. And if you don't have that 90-day window to be able to fund this correctly, then you should please take yourself out to a steak dinner, because it's not going to work. So that's a great question.
No, and that's a great point. And Misty, I'm just curious, since you're out there listening, hopefully you're still listening. What kind of business do you have, or are you thinking about getting into a kind of business? I'd love to know more. Maybe we can cater some of the answers for you, since you're actively engaged and involved. So we appreciate that. But going back to the efficiency, so it might take 60 or 90 days to be able to actually see like the kind of results, and so we know about algorithms, right? I mean, we hear that term algorithms or AI or whatever. And so like, what is going on with kind of in that background that takes so long for it to figure out, why, or, how to, post your ads efficiently and optimize them?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think just like anything else, right? College is 4 years because you learn every semester. And after year one, you're a little smarter. After year two, you're a little smarter. After year three, you're a little smarter. I mean, hopefully. So I think, when it comes to Google ads, and the reason it takes so long is you need to gather a little data, then you need to make your changes. Well, once you make changes, you need to wait to see the output of those changes. It's really no different than what the Feds just did with the rate hikes, and they continue to raise the rates, and they had to wait to see the output of what happened. Does it slow down inflation? Does it not slow down inflation? With Google, that's very similar. You make a change, you need then to wait to see what did that change do. And the next couple of weeks of data is going to tell you what that change did. And then you're going to have to make some more optimizations and more tweaks. And then you got to wait to see what those tweaks did. So if you're not going to give it enough time, to Brady's point, it's not worth running at all, because it's never going to work. No business owner was as good the first day as they are day 50 or day 100 or year 5 or year 10. They optimize their own businesses, and Google Ads is no different.
Okay. So Misty says she's in PR and management. So I'm just curious, have you ever run into, using Google Ads for PR campaigns?
So I've worked with a lot of agencies, and they're more business to business, obviously. So they're trying to attract other businesses. Google Ads is one avenue. LinkedIn Ads actually is a fantastic avenue for them. We've utilized LinkedIn Ads for a lot of those. Recent LinkedIn Ads runs very well for any business to business, call it PR, software, recruiting, senior recruiting, executive recruiting, anything like that. Is you're able to segment a type of business you're trying to get in front of. You're able to segment that by revenue, by number of employees. You could actually segment it and actually pull the role within the organization that you're trying to market to. And you can market directly to people on LinkedIn, either through like messages or just through their ads. And obviously with LinkedIn, it's different because you're not marketing to individual people. You're marketing to businesses. So it's a different platform. So from a PR management, business management consultant type of company, LinkedIn might be a great opportunity. Google Ads is also an opportunity. It's a very different opportunity because you're still trying to proactively grab that interest with the ads based on the search queries, but the search queries are going to be so much fewer searches on Google because companies don't search as often. And that's okay too, because then just the budget will be lower. And if the demand raises, you could push the envelope. So B2B works on Google as well. I believe that there's a good mix you probably want to have. If you're a B2B business, you want to be on Google Ads, and you also probably want to be on LinkedIn.
Okay. Thank you. So if I'm a business owner and I'm just trying to kind of wrap my head around just some of the basics that I need to have in place to make sure that ads are going to be optimized, or the ads are going to be optimizable, or they're going to be of maximum effect. What kind of, like, what are some of the components? Like, how important is like the landing page, or any of that kind of stuff as well to that whole process? Like, what do I need?
Yeah, good question. So Google kind of ranks you and ranks every business. And they rank you on the Google ad side through what's called your quality score. And it's similar to your page rank organically, but it only pertains to the paid ads. And the factors of your quality score, really your click-through rate, is respectable. Your ad relevance. So to answer your question, your ad relevance is very important. It needs to be a relevant ad based on the search query that's triggered, because nobody wants to search for something and see ads that are completely irrelevant. The last component is what's called landing page experience, exactly what you just said, Matt. So landing page experience means, are you landing somebody on the right page of your site against what they search? And a great example is companies that do offers. So if a company's doing a service-based business is doing free service calls, or a store is doing a 25% off sale, you want to state that in the ad, and that's very important. You then need to land them on the page of a site that states it in black and white, because if you don't, that's considered false advertising from Google. So the landing page is very, very relevant. Another part of the landing page that's very relevant is conversion ability. So is it conversion friendly? If it's not conversion friendly, and it's hard for people to convert, either being a form fill, a chat widget, or a phone call, it's just not going to convert. So your landing page is so incredibly important, because you could drive the right traffic to your site and lose those people as soon as they get there because your landing page is just not right.
Okay. So how would somebody optimize, think their landing page? I mean, what do they need to be mindful of on there?
Content that they want the person to understand. So for example, we'll stick to that same example. It's a roofing. Most companies that are roofing do a lot of roofing, siding, gutters. If it's a lawyer and they do PI, med mal, and probate, for example, you want to make sure you have landing pages for every single one. You really don't want a mishmash landing page. And you see that a lot, where there's like everything they do on one page, and there's just not enough content. It just lists their services. So you really want to make sure you have a good page for every one of your services or practice areas, and make sure there's a lot of content about that service or practice area only on that landing page. Videos are also wonderful. People love video. So if you have video, I would embed a video on it. But the biggest mistake you can make is just shooting people to a homepage, not the industry specific or site specific pages, because they're going to bounce and they're just not going to have a good experience. So make sure you have a lot of content only about the exact service or product on each and every page. The more content you have, the better. It's going to raise your conversion rates. Also, as I said before, ability to convert, have it on top, middle, and bottom. Don't make somebody scroll the page and have only one opportunity to convert.
Okay, so if you're going to put like an action step for them to take, right? Whether that's a call now, or button with a form, or whatever that might be, you wanted that actually in multiple places on that landing page, even.
That's right.
That it's a lot easier for them to take that action.
That's right.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I know we've only got some limited time today here, so I think we might have to come back another time and dig in a little bit deeper on Google Ads and really maybe even some ways that business owners can assess success for whenever they're working maybe with like a marketing company, such as yourselves. How do they know things are working? So I think that might be another great time for us to get together. But I really appreciate your time today. How would people get to know you or get to reach out to you if they needed some help?
Yep. So
Brady.
Yeah, so it's easiest usually just through our emails. So because we are just we're two freelancers that combined here. So that we've been doing this for years. So we'll go ahead and if we could put our emails in a follow up. Or I don't know what's the best for that, Matt. But my first.
Well, I mean,
is typically where I get.
Say your.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Just go ahead and just say your emails right now.
Yeah, Brady Tibbits at gmail.com is usually the easiest one. Right. Just my first last name at gmail.com, and that'll forward to me and Brad, and we'll get in touch.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you all so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And thank you, the audience, and especially Misty. Really, really appreciate you being engaged and asking some great questions here today. And hopefully we'll see you again and see you all again. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you for being with us today. But now is the time to put what we talked about into practice. Remember, your family, employees, and community are depending on you to rise up and win. The great news is you're not alone. You're part of a resurgence of entrepreneurs who are ready to take their business, life, and impact to the next level, and we're going to do it together. This show is powered by Time for Success, where we help business owners every day who want more freedom and wealth while building a legacy of positive impact. Please follow Time for Success on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube for more helpful strategies and tools for creating the business and life of your dreams.